And we're back. I want to once again thank everybody for tuning in with me on my Adobe Illustrator tutorials. If you've been following thus far, we've been focusing on the holiday season, and we have a couple of days left until Halloween, roughly a week and some change. And the purpose of the past three tutorials were to give you an idea of how to create some Halloween monsters. So we started with Frankenstein on the lower left, then we went to Dracula on the lower right, and we finished with a general zombie in the top middle section. So what we're going to do, the culmination of all these tutorials, is to discuss some things that you can actually utilize these for. Now, the way I develop them in one color, and that color can be changed to just about any color. So let's get started so I can show you what we're doing here. So if we were to select any one of these, as you can see, there's a single color that's on the sticker itself. If I were to select this, and let's say right now, if I were to go inside and select this, you'll notice that this is all one color. I can change that color to any other color that I choose, and it will reflect against the whole piece. But we want to keep, let's say we want to keep everything exactly the same way that it was prior. I can get rid of the stroke around it if I wanted to, but I'm leaving that there for now. Now, one of the major things that you can do, if you chose, is to actually create sticker versions of these, where you can get stickers die cut in the outer shape of your actual piece that you created. There are a lot of places that you can go to and get this done. All you got to do is actually go to Google, Yahoo, Bing, and search and look up sticker printers or die cut stickers. Die cutting is the process of cutting things out in the exact shape of a specific form. Like you can get this literally cut out in the shape of each of these heads. So that's something that you would want to do or potentially do if you're looking for little things, treats to also throw in a Halloween bag, if you're looking to give them to your kids for school, if you're looking just for an arts and crafts assignment, something that the kids can do and replicate, or you yourself can do just to become more familiar with the process of sticker creation, vector art in general. Now, this is not only limited, or not just limited, to stickers. You can actually see that this is a form of single color printing. If you were to develop this, you can use this for screen printing. Let's say you wanted to get a shirt developed and you wanted one of these on the shirt. It can be something that maybe you're doing a company event and it's for Halloween and you want some neat little icons or characters on the shirt, and it doesn't necessarily have to be for Halloween. This could be for any occasion. You can utilize these and you can place them on a shirt or whatever you've created. With the one color option, you can send it to a screen printer and they can set this up for you as long as you have the required file with this one color piece. Okay, you can do multiple colors, but right now, since we only did one color, I'm discussing one color option. Now, that isn't the true reason why we're actually here doing our tutorial today. Today's tutorial is to discuss patterns. Now, we've done a pattern tutorial in the past, and if you look for it, you'll find it in the Learn to Use tutorials, and it'll discuss patterns and how you can utilize them. But this time, we're going to discuss patterns after we've already created specific artwork. Let's say you want to get a wall full of these. You're in the Halloween or holiday spirit. You want to get a wall full of these. We also know that, let's say, Thanksgiving is coming up, Christmas is coming up. If you create artwork for these, it's a great thing to be able to create a pattern, whether that pattern is for a step and repeat or a just some kind of backdrop or some overlay, let's say a vinyl overlay. You can utilize it for that. Now, this one is more tips on use than actual creation, but we're going to get into the creation in a second. I just wanted you to be familiarized with some of the things that you can utilize this for. So let's get started. So right now I'm going to select all three of my characters. And I actually want to expand and make sure all of Frankenstein's parts are set up properly. And let's make sure everything is expanded. Click OK. And I'm going to merge everything so that they're just one piece. I hated the way that that was showing all the interlocking parts. There we go. Each of them are the same. Now, what we can do is we can select all three of these, and I'm going to lock this layer. I actually placed a background layer on these. I'm going to show you. And I made it simply in the shape of a rectangle as a color layer that will actually change so I can see a different appearance underneath the actual silhouetted vector forms that we created. So I'm going to go to layer 1, which is the layer that I have the artwork on. I'm going to select these three, and then I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to open my Pattern Options box. But I'm going to zoom in just enough so I can see my entire artboard. So Window, Pattern Options. Now, when this comes up, you're going to be presented with a window that says Pattern Options, of course. And then on the right-hand side in the drop-down arrow, you're going to go to Make Pattern. I tend to do this, and then it takes a little manipulation and adjusting, but you can zoom in and out while this window is open, and you can see what it's going to look like. Now, in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to notice you have Save a Copy, Done, and Cancel. If you were to click Cancel, it's going to cancel out what you've created. You click Done, it's going to execute it, and if you click Save a Copy, it will save an actual copy of what you've done and not just execute it, and you can continue moving forward. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, and I've explained this previously in the pattern options and just general pattern tool tutorial, you just want to go in and select the type of grid that you're going to have it tiled to. Any pattern tiles if it's going to be seamless. So right now, I don't really like this open and vacant area that's in between here. I want to try and set it up, and I'm doing this live, so it's going to take some manipulating, to set it up where I can get this to be as flush as possible with each of these characters. So let's see what we can do. Let's change our grid. Let's see what a hex by column gives us. All right, now see, this is cleaner in terms of its overall organization. I like that better. And then I can change the width and keep it proportionate or not, but let's change the width. And I want to expand these so that way it looks even, or as close to even as possible throughout the entire piece. I'm going to, let's see, if I were to size the tile to the actual art, it's going to squeeze it in and then bunch up more of the characters, and I prefer that. And then you could actually change the spacing between the actual characters itself. Now let's see if we pull this out just a little bit more and leave it like that. Now this, to me, is a great tile. If you look, you'll see how they're lining up in each angle, and the spacing is pretty much perfect. And you can change the copies to different setups, 7 by 5, 7 by 3. It just depends on how many you actually want. It does in accordance to a grid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let's say, 3 by 5. Nah, that's not filling up the whole area, so let's go to a 5 by 7. All right? And you can always, like it says here, you can dim the copy so that way you can see your original pieces. But right now, I want to click Done. And this will give me an actual copy of my pattern in here. So I can move these off of the board. And if I want, let's take this. I'm going to go to our new layer, our top layer, paste this again, and then click this pattern that I've created. And now all of my pieces are within the structure of this pattern. It's basically, a pattern is essentially a fill. If you look here, you'll see in your fill window that it's the pattern that you created. Now, I didn't name my pattern. I left it with the name new pattern, but let's name this Halloween. All right, I'm going to click Done. Now, if I hover over this, you'll notice the name is Halloween. And I can, of course, like with anything, remove the fill. Let's say I change the color to this blue. I can still click this and pull these items right back on. It'll replace that blue fill with this pattern. And if you want it to be exact, you can always go back in and you can adjust the art tiling so that each of your characters fits within that bounding box. Now, what we're going to do is, instead of fitting the items within, I'm actually going to Shift and O on my keyboard, and I'm going to open my artboard box. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it out till I'm just about happy with the size of both my pattern. And let's do that. And see how close I can actually get to making this sufficient. So I'm going to close off here, and then I'm going to pull this side over just a little bit, and then let's go and select our pattern again, pull it out some more. Let's see, I'm going to pull it out as far as possible and bring it right there to the end of the white mark. And let's actually select this and bring it out so we can see where the white mark ends on both sides. Leave it there on that side and pull it in about here on this side. And then we want to make sure we pull this pattern into about there. Then we can adjust our artboard and bring it back in. So if I'm going to grab this green and pull it out a little bit, because it doesn't matter where that is for this point. It only matters what it looks like once we decide to save it out. So I'm going to go to our Save for Web option, and that's Command or Control Alt Shift and S. And then I'm going to wait for it to pop up, so just so I can see what it actually looks like. All right, so we have some of the white space is still showing up over here. So what I need to do, and there's a little bit of the next character pulling in on this side. So all I need to do is I need to go in and get rid of this, because apparently I've created multiple artboards. I don't know how that happened. That's really strange. I'm going to select this. Matter of fact, let's lock this layer. We're going to select the color. I'm just going to drag it out really, really far so we can be sure that the color is where it needs to be. Now, because it's there, I can see what's going on with the actual pattern itself. And now I can tell that it's not over far enough. Like it's coming too far over. So I need to clip right around here. Now I might get the edge of this pattern. And to compensate, I can either go back into my pattern and take it off, or I can simply do without that particular edge of the image. Now I can take my artboard and drag my artboard out, so that way that side of each piece is shifted enough where it's catching just the edges of the actual pattern. And now because of this, I can then get out of my art box dialog and try Control or Command Alt Shift again, and now I have a much better pattern set here. And essentially what you can do is you can create patterns from textures. You can create them so that, you know, it's not just character art. It can be any number of things. You can make something more eloquent. You can have, let's say, birds in a tree, birds on branches, and have them connect in such a way that when the pattern is repeated, it's a complete pattern, a textile. Something that you can apply to apparel. A lot of people do prints on shirts or pants, anything, and they do all over prints, which basically encompass the entire thing. And a lot of the way that they do that is by tiling art, vector art, and they'll do it in Adobe Illustrator. They'll have the pattern wrap around so that way they can print one huge pattern and they can cut out using the actual template of whatever it is for their shirt or their pants and connect it so that it seems seamless. So if you ever see that, you'll notice that that's how sometimes they're actually executing this, tiling it for the purpose of textiles and or patterns on physical prints. So now that we've gone through this, we can take this, we can create a complete backdrop. We can take this and create a single sticker printout, a multi-sticker printout where people are able to peel these off for Halloween. You can take the individual ones and you can do that. It's just any number of things that you can do. Now, the purpose, again, of me creating this for you was to show you some of the things that you can do to develop things for, let's say, the holiday season. In addition to creating stock art, you can create vector art that you can then place up on certain sites, specifically a site like Shutterstock. And you can utilize this and you can get money off of the number of downloads that people take from your stock art. So that's another way that you might be interested in actually utilizing your artwork. Now, if you're just utilizing it, you may have a project or something for school, whatever the case may be. This is a quick thing that you can do to add to your project, just artwork. Instead of always having to look for images that are created online, you can create your own. So, again, the whole point of this was to show you the many uses that you can utilize when you're creating unique content. And what we'll probably cover next are another few things that you can do, and they'll probably be relative to the holiday season that's coming up for Thanksgiving. Um, Hopefully, you guys are spending it with family and not everybody's out trying to get a deal on Black Friday. And I'll have a few tutorials also coming up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can always drop me a comment. You can always send me a message. Let me know if there's something you want to hear, something you want to see. If there are any tutorials that are going on that you're interested in, let me know. I'll create them. I'll get them out there for you, and I'll answer any questions that you have. Okay, so thanks again, guys, for joining me for another Adobe Illustrator tutorial. I enjoy participating in these with you, and I look forward to seeing and speaking with you guys soon. Take it easy.